he spawns as the bell-bearing hunter. Which, you know, when you defeat him, you get bell bearings. Your maximum health. Oh, he's doing the same trick as me. But unfortunately for him... Hi, welcome back, again, to another episode of Elden Ring Let's Play. Today, we'll be entering the capital. And there's a slight jump between now and the last episode, because there's an item I wanted to pick up, and it's not necessary, but it does give you a way of fighting this boss without fighting him. Because a lot of the common complaint with these types of games is that it's hard and you don't know what you're doing, etc., etc., etc. But the cool thing is that the game is exactly as hard as you let it be. And I'm going to demonstrate that by showing an easy way to fight this late game boss that you need to defeat in order to enter the capital. We're just going to ignore these giant archers, though. As long as they can't shoot us, they can't really do much. Okay. Well, I'm going to kill at least one of them now. Yeah. Speaking of intimidating enemies, these golems are intimidating until you figure out their gimmick. The gimmick is you hit them in the shins until they die. Alright, and we should be coming up on the boss guarding the entrance. Just a moment. And there's a Stake of America right here, so we can respawn if we die. And he's right there. So, if your eyes are good, and the video quality is good, you'll say, hey, that looks a lot like an Erdtree Sentinel, and you're right. Except you'll notice a few key differences, mainly that his armor's all messed up. And that's because he's a draconic Erdtree Sentinel. And the difference is, one of them has a phase 2 where they use lightning. Now, this is one of the more difficult bosses if you're not used to playing these types of games. And a lot of people, especially if they don't level health, struggle to get past him into the capital, which you need to do in order to get endgame. And unless you're adamant about breaking the game, this is the only way to enter the city. Now, thankfully, there are a number of ways you can fight this boss. You can fight him head on like you're supposed to, or you can do what I'm about to do, and just spam Poison Mist. Am I not close enough? Yeah. So Poison Mist, the actual spell doesn't do any damage, but if an enemy sits in it for long enough, they should get poisoned. And poison does percentage damage. Which makes it really helpful for taking down bosses that you otherwise wouldn't have fun fighting. You know, assuming they didn't patch it out. Up there it goes. And so now you just wait out the poison. And he'll just slowly die over time. Now, obviously that's boring, so I'm not going to actually fight him that way. But the whole point of this was to show you that you could fight him that way. And now we're just going to fight him the normal way. And by normal way, I'm going to summon the boy. And then he's going to summon lightning. Thankfully, he is poisoned and scarlet rotted, so it's only a matter of time until he dies now. But as you can see with his area denial and decent damage, even for someone who's leveled his health like me, you can see how this would be a tough boss. Yeah, but the cool thing is you get his weapons once you beat him. And with that, we gain access to the Erdtree Capital. Which is the major branching point for the rest of the game. Because now that we have access to here, we have access to technically 2 legacy dungeons. And the last boss of... the last major boss before the endgame. As well as a lot of other stuff. And, more importantly, the last parts of our build. Because inside the capital is a dungeon, and inside that dungeon is another dungeon, and inside that dungeon is the last piece of the build, the last piece I need for this build. Because, as you could probably tell from the stat spread, this is an arcane bleed build. And the talisman inside that dungeon, makes it so that when bleed is procced, whether by you or enemies or whatever, you deal increased damage. Which, you know, is a really useful thing if you like dealing damage. And now we get this nice view of the inner moat, the Erdtree especially, and the castle leading up to it. Thankfully, there's a checkpoint right here. This isn't necessary. Here's a proper view of the capital itself. So, this is actually an area that we will be exploring every section of, because there's a lot of disparate pieces to it. So, the current objective is to get down along Main Street there, and that'll give us access to 2 other areas. It's not a very straightforward path, but, you know. And now that I've poorly explained that, I'm actually going to teleport out because there's a loose end I forgot to tie up. And I figured it'd be a fun thing to do. I know I said I would enter the Erdtree Capital, and I will, but I frankly don't feel like going through it right now. So I'll do that in a different episode. So, I think this one's going to be a bit short, and we'll cap it off by fighting Margit. Again. You know, now that we're much stronger. Uneven terrain. Oh, well, that was certainly an interaction. Oh, that has a much bigger range than I thought it would. Don't worry, if you for some reason like this guy, this won't be the last time we fight him. And he's gonna do a run up. Oh. Jump attacks. They're balanced as heck. This is your idea. You're the one who jumped away. And that talisman boosts your max stamina. Now there is another loose end that I want to tie up real quick. But I'm going to make sure I already have the piece in place that I need to do it. Because there's another NPC that leads to a different ending. But in order to do that, you actually... It's a 2 NPC quest. In order to advance one, you need to advance the other. And so... we have to go talk to one real quick. Talk with quotation marks around, because nobody's going to be doing any talking. No, we're not going to kill him. But we have to interact with them in order to proc the dialogue from the other one. Yeah, he's just this guy chilling out here at the end of the bridge. Pointing at the tree. And now that we've talked to him, we come back here and talk to Brother Corbin, who will then move to that guy and give us new spells to buy. And it's always a good day when you can buy new spells. And then once you talk to him again, he'll move inside the capital. And that'll be the signal to truly begin our capital exploration.
Well then.
Yeah, why not?
From your description, of course, less the gold to you two.
And with that, he will now move to the bridge. And then we go and talk to him again, and then they'll move inside the capital. And it'll be honky-dory. You know, if I don't ride into trees. Yeah, doing this questline unlocks another ending option. In truth, there are only really the 3 distinct endings, and then like 4 of the 6 endings are just like, a different color of paint.
Thanks to you and taking my place. Have no fear, though we must do so.
And with that, we can buy this spell off him. But first, I need to pop some souls, because I don't have enough. Actually, you know what? I don't have enough anyway, so.
Indeed, I am the master while I front, and though I am yet, I know that the Golden Order. May the Golden Order.
And with that, the quest line is progressed. Alright, I know this is a short episode because I basically just fought 2 bosses and then ended it, but I feel like this is a good place to end it because the next episode or so next couple episodes are going to be focused on just getting through this gigantic area, because we really are approaching the end game. This is late mid game, but once we're through here, we're truly be in the end game. And there are still a couple of areas to explore that I haven't shut off yet that I can. But we're going to do the capital first, and then we'll go to those places next. So, thank you for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.